It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hello. We are back. We are live. I don't even know, but Drew just got back from a 8-city birthday tour. And by 8 cities, I mean one in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, man. I wish it was like back in the days where you're like, oh, I'm here for this birthday day. I'm here for this. I'm here for this. But no one gives a flying fuck. I was just out there because I'm living my life to the fullest and I'm not stopping. So we got the opportunity to do it. The good friend Master Monk is out there, which, by the way, I got to see him play this giant room that he does, Riot House, and he just fucking smashed that room, just destroyed that room. It was fun to watch. I haven't seen a good set like that in a long time. It was great.
Good to hear. So you were out in Denver. It was opening day for the Colorado Rockies.
Me and DJ Strip, Tommy. We were out there, and I always see pictures of your opening days, right, at Cincinnati,
right?
And I'm like, okay, that it looks crowded and fun. Being part of it was just like, there's 60,000. I think all of the city comes out. It's just absolutely bonkers that many people. No one gives a fuck about baseball, but everybody's out there, to rage and just be, part of it.
Right. It's opening day is fun. It's one of my favorite days of the year here in Cincy. So it's cool that you got to experience something similar.
They have that Mile High bar. Everyone just gets cheap tickets and then goes up and just rages up in that little area, which I think is really a brilliant idea. I would go to the game all the time if we had something cool like that and you just walk to it.
Right. Yeah. I'm visiting later this year. I'm going to the Reds game in Denver. So Reds and Rockies.
So
look forward to it.
As big of a baseball fan as you are, how many stadiums have you been to?
Not as many as I would like to be, like 4, 5, I think.
That's it? Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We need to fix that.
Well, I've been outside of a lot of them, just never been in them.
We need to fix that. You gotta get some games under your belt.
Yeah.
Get some stadiums under your belt.
I think I'm trying to hit at least another 2 more this year. Obviously the Denver one, and I might hit the New York one later, and maybe Pittsburgh at some point too, because that's a somewhat easy drive. Before we get started with today's guest, we just want to shout out our sponsors really quick. If you haven't checked out Direct Music Service yet, you can use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show. It'll get you 30% off your first month. That's right, 30% off your first month only. If you haven't checked it out, it's a good offer. We don't do too many discounts, so check that one out. Also, Crate Hackers. We're on Crate Hackers once a month. We do a hackathon. Typically the last Tuesday of the month. If you guys haven't joined in one of those, they are free most of the time to attend. It is virtual. You can do it from anywhere. We talk all kinds of shit on there with music. Yeah, we have fun with those. Yeah.
Yep.
Tell them why they should do it.
Tons of playlists. We go down all kinds of playlists and, just reviewing stuff you should be playing or stuff you shouldn't be playing. Yeah, they're fun. 100+ people every time. So definitely come and join it. It's free. You don't have to be a member, but you might end up signing up. So check it out.
Perfect. Now we can get into today's guest. He's a return guest. Second time on the show. There's no introduction needed. We're just going to bring him on. Welcome, Joe Bunn.
What is up, my people? Man, I haven't been on since like episode. We need to look back. It was early Drew and Fuse days.
It was.
It was.
Was it one of the first 10 or 12?
I think so.
I think it was in the first 10 because you were gonna cut us off if we didn't keep it in the first 10.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, that in my rider I say I have to be on one of the first 10 episodes. But then in my head, I'm thinking these fuckers won't make it past number 11. And y'all did it. Y'all did it, man. What number are we on? 100
This
and something?
is
I
one.
think
This
it's
will be like
111.
Yeah,
Yeah.
111 or so.
I saw
Yeah.
when you crossed 100, man. I'm serious. Like, you should pat yourselves on the back, man, because it's very difficult to do and maintain and to hit that number, even the number 100. And so I'm proud of y'all, man. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, because I know how hard it is. I did it for 5 years. I think we did 200 or 300 episodes. Like, it's tough. So
It
pat
is a
on the
lot of
back.
work.
Pat on the back.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir. Yeah.
We wanted to start off with asking you a question. We were, we really haven't chatted much since DJC,
Mhm.
and both Drew and I really liked the presentation you gave at DJC, and we just kind of wanted to ask how life has been since DJC and kind of where you're at with stuff.
That's great, man. Ironically, I was thinking about that this morning. Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. That's so weird that you asked me that, because we didn't do like a pre-interview or anything. But I was driving here to the office, and I think because we're coming up on the year anniversary of when my dad died, and that was kind of a big part of what I talked about in November at the collective. I don't know, some reason I was thinking about that this morning. So this is super ironic that you mentioned it. But life's good, man. It just sucks to lose a parent. You become a member of a club that you don't want to fucking be in. And I don't know. I don't think you ever really get over it. I mean, granted, it's only been a year, but I talked about that. I talked about, divorce. That's super difficult to go through and expensive. And, you lose a person you've been with for 20 years, I talked about my son going to college. That was just still like I every day I just want to call him and be like, what's going on down there in Atlanta, man? Like, it's been a ride, man. And I think it just comes with getting older. Now a lot of my parents' friends are starting to die and going to funerals, and it's just a weird chapter of life. But, personally, life's good. I got seeing a girl, bought a house, I got a
Congrats.
little bit of money in the bank. Like, it's just, I keep it between the ditches, man. I told Nate Nelson the other day, we were doing Nate's bringing back a podcast, and
All right.
we were
Shout out,
talking about some of this, not this particular subject, but we kind of got into it a little bit, and I was just like, man, I don't trend like super happy. You know what I mean? Some lady the other day that I paid money to consult me on something actually told me, she goes, Joe, you don't have resting bitch face. You have active bitch face. Like, she told me that. I was like, I paid this lady $2,500 to just shit on me like that. Like, anyway. And I think that when I wake up, I still love to work. I still love to DJ. I still love to come to the office. I get creative streaks, and I feel very passionate about those, or marketing things. And I'm like, I've got to make this, I got to get this out of my head. But I don't like wake up like puppy dogs and rainbows, or even convey that message some days. I call it between the ditches, man. I just like to keep it between the ditches. I don't feel depressed or anxious, but I also don't feel sad or unhappy. Like, I kind of ride the middle, man, and then you have life moments, like you go to opening day, or I go see some band that I'm in love with. And that's when the elation comes. That's when the happiness kind of shoots out the top of my head.
Do you feel like it's because you're just always working? Do you feel like, but when I say that, I mean, because I feel kind of the same way a lot of times, but I enjoy what I do. So it's hard. It's like you want to stay busy and you want to stay growing. So it's hard to always be that happy like that.
I think it's just genetics and personality, and it's just the way I'm programmed, right? But I would be genuinely unhappy and sad and or depressed if I did not, like, if I was not doing something that I loved, if I did not come here and try and come up with the next thing, or didn't have a show to prep for this weekend, I would slip into some sort of unhealthy space.
Right.
And I don't feel like I live in that lane, thankfully. And I know a lot of people do.
See, I don't consider, like, even though the lows or whatever, I always try and have a, I use this analogy, but like a band's first album, right? They're they're struggling and they're trying their hardest, and they can kind of see the top, but it's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
some of the best times. The challenge and the growth period is like stuff I actually try and cherish those moments instead of the success nowadays.
Yeah, I get that, man, for sure. Like you said, you got your whole life to write that first album, and that's why some people can never replicate it, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to just focus on the ride, right, or remember the best parts of it instead of always thinking about what do I got to do next. And I'm trying to get better at that, right?
Yeah.
Are you
Anyway.
enjoying DJing and playing gigs as much now as you've always been?
Man. But I've gotten very, I guess, choosy is the word. Like I Randy books all my shows. Randy's been with me for 25 years. He runs Bunn DJ Company, and I think he filters through tons of leads daily, and he's just like, he doesn't even present the offer to them that Joe Bunn's available if it's at X venue, or if they mention something in the description like, we're not big dancers, but maybe our guests are. I think he's filtering out like anything that he knows is not an absolute rager or is in some, third story load in with no elevator. Like he's cutting down all that shit, and then just will be like, this looks like Joe, present the price a little bit more than my guys. Do they take it? And then I just got off a consult and booked December 31st, 2025. Like when I got on the call, I go, hey, I think I wrote the date wrong. And she goes, no, you got it. 12/31/25. I'm like, okay.
Wow, in demand, a year and a half out.
I said, dude, let's do it. They booked it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yes, I love it.
What you're describing was one that I just did like a couple weeks back. It's like 2-story, fucking the smallest elevator known to man, and just the notes page of horse shit that I'm going through for.
Yeah, no.
So at this second, we're gonna start this and we're gonna do this. I'm like, how did I book this fucking wedding?
It sounds like a Brian B gig. Was that a Brian B booking?
No, the last Brian B one actually was like 3.5 hour dance party. It was amazing. And I haven't had a wedding where all of the guests, I think I got like 20 followers from the guests count.
Oh wow.
It was fun. It was super
That's
fun.
how you know you did it. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Social proof.
Bringing us to one more kind of deep question that we want to ask, but we just kind of wanted to chat about some stuff that we don't get to talk about. But where do you see yourself in another 5 to 10 years? Where do you see the future of Joe Bunn or Bunn DJ Company?
That's a great question, actually. So let's see. September I'll be 53, right? So then I feel like I have a few more years, and let's call it, I don't know, five more years, maybe less. The show number goes down every year, but I still feel like I have 5 more years of where I'm going to do X number of shows. And that may come down to, instead of 45 or 50 like I do now, it might come down to 20 shows, right? 1-2 a month for the next 5 years. And then the beauty of the way that this company, Bunn DJ Company, was built is that it was always built on the backs of the talent, right? The other DJs that work here. And I really genuinely believe that they are all interchangeable. Like they're all that good. They all can rock parties. They all have a good personality. They all understand the customer service and treating vendors and treating the guest that walks up and wants to hear a terrible request, right? Also knowing that Randy at 60 years old, Joe at 53 years old, Mitch, Steve, these other guys at 45, 50 years old are kind of the generation that are starting to phase out and tell me, hey man, book me once or twice a month at the most, or I'm going to take off all of May and go to the beach. But all of the new generation that I'm hiring are early 30s, just had their first kid, very rooted in Raleigh, hungry to play shows every weekend, trying to make that extra money to pay for their Disney trip or their wife's pocketbook or whatever they want, to get her for Christmas. And so it's the company can run forever, really, with or without Joe Bunn, playing.
Mhm.
Or really, if I wanted to disappear for 6 months, I genuinely believe that Randy is running it to the point where I could come back 6 months from now and we're still making money, profitable. Everybody's super happy that we play their parties. And that is and always was the goal / American dream, to be able to sit on the beach on a Saturday and not get phone calls from your DJs and to be making whatever, 5 figures, literally sitting there in the sun or out on the boat fishing with your kids. Like, I feel like I accomplished that with this company.
Was that always the way that the company is now? When you started DJing, let's say when you were 21, did you think
Yeah.
that it
No,
would be what it is?
I don't think so at all, man. I thought it was a hobby. I thought it was the college job. I thought it was what you would do for the ultimate college job. Like, if you weren't a bartender, this was the next height. I mean, the bartender was one step below the DJ. The DJ, to me, it was and always will be the pinnacle college job, right? You're not a server, you're not you're not slinging drinks. You are literally the tastemaker, the music guy, the person in front of all these kids at this bar. It is the greatest to this day. And I've been out of school for 30 years, and I guarantee there's no better college job than that DJ at that hot bar, on that strip of Franklin Street in Chapel Hill or whatever it is in your town. Like, that is the job. And when I graduated, I immediately went into something that was non-related. I had this idea because I had a lot of friends that were working at Eurosport, which became soccer.com. And this was really pre-internet sales, and it was a catalog company and they were selling soccer gear. And so we kind of honed it down to collegiate hats, and t-shirts. And we started getting licenses and, we weren't making the hats. We were buying them from a couple of different companies, and we would make a little catalog and we would send it out to the biggest colleges in the country, Ohio State, Michigan, we were buying mailing lists and literally sticking the labels on these little catalogs. And just right out of the gate, just took a $60,000 beating, year one out of school. And I was like, oh, I think I should go back to DJing. Like, how am I going to recoup this beating? And then it just went from there, like it became like, oh, wait, this is what you're actually supposed to be doing. Like, I think this is your purpose. Like, this is the real job. This isn't the college job or the high school job. This is like your actual purpose. It's crazy.
Anytime I've tried to veer off from DJing, it's always brings me right back. It's just
It's hard to get out of, man.
It has to come back. Yeah, I just kept getting sucked back in, and
because you're good though. Because you're good at it. The people that faltered, or the people that didn't make it through COVID, or the people that did quit, they were never that good at it. There's no way. Because even if you said, I'm only going to do 10 shows a year, 5 shows a year, you already have the gear, you already have the music, yeah, you got to update it once in a while. Again, I'm talking about in the private event space more so than the club world and having to be hyper up to date. Like, because you're good at it, man. Like, you're that good.
It's not even just being like good at it. It's the desire. And, I hear people are like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to do it much longer or this and that. I'm going, don't quit. I'm like begging them not to quit because I love it so much. I just can't even explain how much I love it. It's all I do. I eat, breathe, and sleep DJing. It's my favorite thing. Back in the days, I know you preach it too, but people used to always, tell us you can't do that when you get older. Look at most of us are, all older, like crushing it. I don't know that there is a shelf life anymore. I think we're all like kind of writing that new path that no one's going to be.
Listen,
no one's going to say, hey, DJs can only be X amount anymore. I think it's going to go away soon.
That's childish, man. It's an excuse. Listen, I'm not going to speak on the bar and club thing because I've been out of that market for so long. So I'm not going to speak on that demographic or if you can or cannot do it. I know I could go in there and play it and destroy it. Am I the right age? Maybe not. But I'm going to tell you this. In the private event space, it doesn't fucking matter. Randy Bennett in September 1st turned 60 years old. He did 130 shows last year. 105 of them were weddings with 25 to probably 32-year-old brides. They don't give one single shit that Randy Bennett's 60 years old. Why? because he slays it. He's a wizard. His mixes are clean. He knows exactly what to play, when to play it, what to say on the mic. He can get in and out of songs flawlessly. He never misses. I mean, they don't care. So when you hear these these guys are like, man, I'm going to get out of the game. These 25-year-old brides don't want to see me up there. You're just making an excuse for why your marketing sucks or why you're not relating to these couples. Change your suit up, change your gear up, change your music up, do better, and you're still relatable. It doesn't matter that you're 60.
I'm still doing clubs, and I played a club last night, and I had a bunch of fans that come regularly every Sunday. They come out because they like the vibe and the mix. So
sure,
I don't think it matters one bit.
It doesn't, dude. If you can play it and relate to that audience, they don't care, dude. They do not care. Like, we're not talking about Ultra Music Festival and you have to be something, or even look at those guys. I mean, look at Guetta or look at Tiesto. Those guys are at least mid-50s.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
One of the things, like you mentioned, the guys that quit during COVID, and something that stuck with me, just kind of talking back about DJC, was Stylist Chris during his speech. He said something, and it was like along the lines of, how many people in this room right now, if COVID happened again, would find themselves in a similar situation of being like out of work and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, good, you're right where you're supposed to be. And I think that was one of the things that like resonated most with me, was like, you're right. Like, there are just a group of us as DJs and, entertainers and business owners that this is just what we do and what we eat, sleep, and breathe it. And I don't know what I would be doing if it wasn't for this.
I don't either, man. I'm dead serious. I know I wouldn't be. I know we were talking about happiness earlier. I know I wouldn't be any degree of happy working. I don't want to say for somebody else, but for somebody else, or doing something corporate. And even though I'd be knowing exactly what I'm going to make every week, and I had all my health insurance and dental insurance and vision insurance paid for, and I had a 401k and all the shit you're supposed to have in the corporate world, there's no way that that's ever going to be me. It just, my dad begged me to come work at his company, and I'd just be like, Dad, what? Well, I don't want to make rope and cord in Rocky Mount. Like, it's the city is barely even like sustaining itself. Like, and even if I live in Raleigh, so I'm going to like commute there, work at this factory. You're going to pay me $35,000 a year. I was like, I mean, he would just, and every year he would raise the number. And I said, Dad, we made that last weekend. Like, what are you talking about? It's just, I love you, bro, but I can't come down there and make rope with you. It's not for me.
My dad had 2 master's degree and was trying to tell me the same thing. And I'm like, Dad, I make more money than you. You have 2 masters. What are you talking about?
My favorite story, when we opened up Bunn DJ Company in Charleston, and the guy that approached me, this was the first person that ever had this idea to do another office in another city. His name is David Fox. He's killing it down there. And he came to me and he said, hey man, I want to own my own office. And I said, all right, you got to get out of Raleigh. Like, where do you want to go? And he said, you tell me. And he wasn't married. He was, under 30, no kids yet. And he said, I said, Charleston, South Carolina is ape shit, man. The brides are literally hyping each other up in the middle of the street on Saturdays. It's wedding palooza. And he was like, okay. And he went down there and kind of just took over. But his I forgot where I was going with this, but like, it was one of those things. Oh, his dad was, so David Fox had gone 4 years to NC State, then spent X years at law school at another university somewhere here in North Carolina. His dad was a big dog lawyer down at the beach, was the head of the ABC, which is the Alcohol Beverage Commission, like did all the legal for them. So then his son, who approaches me and then approaches his dad and tells him, Dad, I know now he's passed the bar. I no longer want to be a lawyer after 8 years of school and passing the bar. I would like to be a professional DJ. So his dad goes, I need to meet this Joe Bunn guy. Let's go to lunch. And we go to lunch and we sit down, and his dad looks at me, and I'm literally bite one of my salad. And he goes, what do you need from me other than my money, or something like that? And I like, I looked at David and I was like, oh, he's hot. Like he's bamboozled me. Like this guy's just, he hates me. Like I could just see the disdain in his eyes. So I had this folder full of shit. I don't know if I like in my head knew he was going to try and, corner me, but I set my fork down. I didn't think I took the bite. I just set it down and I took the folder, I opened it, I pulled a pen out and I circled line 32 or whatever my tax return was that year. And I slid it across the table and I pointed to it and I go, is your son ever going to make this number right here, even as a partner in a law firm in Raleigh, North Carolina? And he glances over his salad. He looks at it. He goes, not even close. And I go, I rest my case. And I literally took the folder, shut it, went back to eat my salad. The guy has hated me ever since. He got married years later. I saw his dad at the wedding. Dude didn't even speak to me. He's just disgusted that his son has deviated from being a DJ from being a lawyer into a full-time professional DJ. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Doug Fox hates me.
I love it so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything that you want to achieve in your DJ career still? Is there anything you're really looking forward to?
Yep, and it lingers and it weighs upon me so heavily year after year. I need one massive amphitheater 30-minute opening for name the band. Like as long as I like the band, that show. I don't care if it's Keith Urban or Blink 182 or 30 Seconds to Mars. I want 30 minutes on the stage, not like during the daylight. Like I want to be on right before the peak hour and I need to film it and document it. And I want to feel that feeling of like 23,000 people going fucking crazy. And I feel like I've milked every content. I mean, every contact at Live Nation, every contact at every amphitheater here, and I just can't land on it. And I tried to do it myself at this outdoor amphitheater last year, and it was okay, but it was so it kind of sits in the middle of a big mall, this big AstroTurf space, and it just became too family friendly. Like there was a lot of kids up on the front row, and like I was getting ready to go into this whole no hands kind of ratchet set, and I just looked down and I was like, I felt like I was at a fucking Wiggles concert, and it just went so it just went so sideways that I just kind of lost like where I wanted to go with it. And I don't know. I mean, there was 1,000 people there. I don't know, maybe a couple thousand, but it didn't
anytime I see
right.
kids, that's where my interest just dies.
It does, man.
So sad.
I hate a damn child. I love my own kids, but I don't want to see your nasty kids.
Well, I think you just got to start Bunapalooza, book a couple acts yourself, and
maybe you're right, man. It sounds super high risk. Maybe that's what it has to be though. Like
you book enough cool bands, and then you're playing all the breaks.
That's true. They just had that Dreamville Fest here. There had to be 100,000 people out there yesterday and the day before with J. Cole's thing that he does here. It was huge. Anyway,
that might be the next phase. The next phase of your thing is a concert promoter. Joe Bunn, concert promoter.
It sounds super high risk. Everything about it sounds so high risk. The collective alone almost took the soul out of me. Now you want me to book 30 Seconds to Mars to play in my backyard.
It might be worth the gamble.
It could be. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea. Let's talk about it off the air.
Speaking of Bunn events and Bunn stuff, sure. We got the Bunn gear back. Want to talk a little bit about that? We thought it was gone.
I thought it was gone. The world thought it was gone. I told the world it was gone. I did.
Wrapped it up and threw in the towel.
Let's see, 2019, I have this idea, so pre-pandemic, to just start creating DJ booths that would break down and that a mobile DJ could take and pop up quick and just look and feel more confident, right? And partnered with a guy, found the factory to build them, and first 100 run out the door. The factory didn't do a great job. Second 100, or so number second batch of 100 come out, and we moved the factory to here. They did okay. Another batch of 100 came out, still same factory here in Raleigh. And then it went to everybody here at these factories in the United States just did not take us very serious. We were too small to we weren't big enough to ignore or whatever, you know what I mean? Like we had enough money and we're ordering enough product to where they couldn't ignore us, but we weren't big enough to where we would take precedence over something like Redbox, those aluminum things outside of a CVS or whatever. And so I would order 100 and they'd send me 20, and I had 40 orders, and it just became very, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it just became this bottleneck of like, dude, I got people that are, going into wedding season, need a booth, ordered it 3 weeks ago. And so finally, man, I was just like, I'm done with this shit. I bought the name from my partner, and there was no inventory left. We had sold them all. And I was like, I'm just going to buy the name and sit on it. And through happenstance, I met up with some guys that were building stuff overseas out of aluminum. I saw the quality. I mean, they sent me a prototype, and I literally set it side by side by the one I was using from the original run. And I was like, dude, I don't know which is which. Like, it is that good. In fact, I don't know that it's not better. Like the aluminum was a little thicker. The welds were a little bit tighter. And I was like, well, let's run it back again. And, because I was getting people still like, are you really done? Like, I need three, need 3 more for, I just hired 3 guys. Cause some of these companies, have this standardized gear set for all their DJs. And
Right.
dude, whatever it was when I relaunched less than 4 months ago, probably, I've already burned through 100, got another 100 coming. And then they just sent me the prototype for the new version, which maybe we'll talk about that on the next episode, but and it looks unbelievable. So I've got more products coming now. I'm working on light stands for all these tube lights that everybody's doing. I got a new, completely different design of booth that still breaks down into 2 SKB cases. Like, I'm still doing it, man. And I really have found like a renewed passion for it. And every day I'm getting pictures from DJs all weekend long, sending me their pictures of their setups. They're so proud. They're not setting up on these shitty tables anymore behind a facade, that comes up to their chin. Like, I'm like, dude, show people what you're doing back there, man. You want to get $5,000 or $10,000. Don't hide behind a facade, man. Like, especially people like y'all that are flipping tracks so fast. Like, people want to see that shit, man. It really triggers like, oh, this guy's not a button pusher. Like, he's a wizard back there. And so I don't know, man. I'm super proud of it. Thank you for mentioning it. If you want one, or if you want to just check out what I'm talking about, it's bungear.com. Thank you.
And you when's the new model launch? I'm sorry.
You know what, Drew? Let's just call it. So we're recording this April 8th, April, May, June. Oh yeah, definitely will be available at DJX. So that's August. So and what I'm doing for the first time ever at DJX, I'm going to actually have booths there that you can take home with you. So everybody at DJX, as you know, drives in from New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey. Some people drive up from North Carolina, Virginia, whatever. And so that show is a show where you can actually sell stuff on the showroom floor, and people throw it in the back of their truck and take it home. So I'm gonna have a stack of booths to actually sell at the show. There is no ordering. And by the way, for the first time ever, like I said, there is no more bottleneck. We bought our own CNC machine to cut the custom tops. We have our own warehouse. We have my own guy that's there. So normally if somebody orders on Monday, it's leaving by Wednesday. Custom cut top, bagged, ready to go.
That's dope.
Awesome.
Yeah. There is no more 4 weeks, 6 weeks. We're not building it. I have a room full of them ready to rock.
We need me and Fuse haven't decided if we're going to X yet or not, but
Yeah,
we
gotta
need
figure
to
that out. Yeah,
I'd love that. I feel like everybody loves to see y'all. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Just the 2 big ones this year, Mobile Beat or Mex and DJX. I'm not going to Marquee. I'm not going to make it to Midwest DJs Live. There's another one in Pittsburgh, like next week. I saw.
Yeah, I'll be there for that one.
You are going to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Warren was sending out some emails for that. I think maybe y'all are sponsoring, or DMS is sponsoring, or something like that.
Yeah, we are. So the Zimmy's putting this one together.
Yeah,
so,
I know him. I met him before.
Yep. I'm looking forward to this one only because he's got some different things he's bringing people in to talk about, and I think it's going to be interesting to see.
I do too.
That
Please,
side of it.
I'll definitely circle back with you when I get back. I think I'm out of town that week, down in Florida, doing a little fishing trip. But I'll circle back with you when it's over because I want to hear like your input on it.
We'll do for sure.
Oh, I don't want to cut you off. maybe we need to do like a Sacagawea part 2 meets the Bunn booth. A Sacagawea party with the Bunn booth.
If we go to DJX, we need to decide now, and we need to throw a party because that party last year,
dude, this
ice cream social.
Me and Drew talked about this, or somebody talked about this last year. So whatever happens at that club, we're not doing that. So I'll head it up. Like I'll start looking for the venues, or I'll call some of our Jersey people, and we'll find the venue again, walkable from the host hotel, and then we're gonna put our homies on it, do like hour-long 45-minute sets or hour-long sets, do like a 4 or 5 hour party, and just it doesn't matter what they're gonna do. We're just gonna advertise our thing. If they want to still do their party, they can do that party, but I can assure you that we are going to have a much better time. I just can't do the trance stuff for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Phoned in fucking party, dude.
I can't do it. I can't do it again. I can't do it again. We have to do our own party. So please just commit to coming, and then let's just start planning the party this summer, and then by August it'll be all laid out.
Drew and I will talk about it this week and see if we can make it happen. It's a difficult thing for us only because there's no easy way to get there. And last year we had to fly into Philly, rent a car, drive there. It was,
it's not great. No, I agree.
You heard it here first. We're pushing for it.
Yes. I'm gonna get y'all there, and I'm telling you,
the ice cream social.
Whatever you want to call it. You can call it whatever you want, dude. As long as both of y'all are there and I'm there, and we got a bun booth at the center of it.
You know what we need? Like the baseball stadium where they have like the hats, right? We need like a miniature Joe Bunn booth, and you put ice cream in it. Yeah. There you go.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
It's right there. Done. That's the best advertising you'll ever see.
Done.
Put it on there. They can put it on their desk.
A little Sunday. Yeah. And then you take it home with you. I don't hate it.
Dude.
I don't hate it.
I think that's the move right there.
I know it's the move.
What I was gonna say too is, talking about being prepared for wedding season and getting your bun gear. What else do you think guys should have prepared for wedding season? Or Drew, do you want to elaborate on this question?
I love this because so I have heard people slowing down and taking less weddings, right? But with that comes when the new weddings do come up, it comes that sense of anxiety for me. I'm not ready. I know I could do them blindfolded. It's not the thing. It's just that say I had been off for like 3 months, and then I was back to doing a wedding, and I was like, fuck, dude. Just like, is this cable in this bag? Is this just like the little things? What's your tips and tricks for that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess first and foremost would be don't wait till the last minute. You know what I mean? Like I really started because I just started back. I did a wedding in Costa Rica for a friend a few weeks ago.
That. That looks dope.
So sick. That's a cool place, man. If you've never been down there, go. It's like the greatest vibe ever. But really, this 3 days ago, Friday was like the first one I've done here, in the United States. And I had been off for a couple, 3 months of doing like really, the ceremony and the introductions. And it was just, but about a month ago, I really started, okay, let me go back through the gear. Does anything need to be replaced? Did anything break last year? Do I have my gaff tape? Do I have a backup USB-C cable that comes straight from the controller? And then it went from there to music. And y'all mentioned it earlier. I'm a part owner of Crate Hackers, but I really started, and I have before done this. I've literally gone in before and just deleted every crate and started from scratch. I didn't do that this year, but I really did a better job of going through and cleaning up what I would call my essentials crate, which probably has 400 songs in it, or at least changing some of the edits to redrums or shorter mixes, trying to just go through the billboard. Is there anything that's really going to translate into weddings here? Like that's not super slow or too hip hoppy. Like it really was those main things, gear, and then followed by music. And then just, again, back into the habit of retyping the schedule out, in a format that I can read it or that really applies to me, and just get back into the swing of it, starting to shoot again, starting to vlog again, like all the content pieces that come with it. It doesn't stop, man. You can't let it stop if you want to be booked. I mean,
Are you still on paper and pen for all your announcements, all your notes, or you use iPad?
I'm bad for the last probably 3 or 4 years. So
Yeah.
I have a Pages document that's kind of like the template. And then I'll usually look at it's very rare now that I do a wedding without a professional wedding planner, but her schedule is so multi-page and hair and makeup and limo shows up here. So I'm just cutting that down into like a 1 or 2 pager for the iPad. And then if I have to go and line up people, I just hit edit real quick on it and change the last name or, rearrange people. I've just gotten really good on the iPad and it just kind of sits there. Yeah.
That's what I do. I don't think it matters really, but what I love about the iPad is I can leave it on my DJ booth, and then I can just take my phone, and if I have to do any edits, type it real quick, and it just auto
syncs in the cloud.
back to the back to the deal. So tight.
I'm the same way. I mean, I just Fuse, like it's just one of those not wait till the last minute kind of parties. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It depends on where you are. Some people never go out of season, but here in the South, I would say it's, end of April or now maybe mid-April through, let's call it late October, so we're on most of the year. Maybe November is kind of light. July and August are a little light. It's so hot, but there's really no out of season, but just know when you have that break of, a month or 2 months or whatever to enjoy yourself, take some time off, but don't come back into it like the day before and think you're going to just go out there and pop off a wedding. Like you got to be a little more prepared than that.
Would you say your all of your setups are for the most part like exactly the same?
Yeah.
So cable wise, it's all like reception just is like boom. It's all going to be this.
It is. Then, like the van is laid out pretty much perfectly, like with the shelving, what I need. And then I have a closet here that kind of holds the auxiliary gear. Like if I knew I needed to fill a room, I would take those little battery powered speakers. If I knew, that I needed to run something wirelessly, I've got those little XLR dongles. It's just most of it stays in the van, and then I've got like an auxiliary wall here of stuff that's charging up, getting ready to go.
We wanted to talk a little music. Drew and I always try to talk a little music. So we had a couple questions.
Hey, Tazon Day here. Drew and Fuse, the drewiest and fusiest pair on the planet, are here to marinate your ears, marinate themselves, maybe kind of rotisserie themselves and roll around in the ambiance of sound and music. So put on some Tazon Day light candles and let's talk music.
They're just generalized music questions, but is there any song that you played at your past couple weddings that you did, either the one in Costa Rica or the one you just did back in town, that you really liked and that you enjoyed at cocktail hour? Is there a song that like stood out?
I'm trying to think, for cocktail hour, the last couple I did. So Costa Rica, they had a mariachi band. And this past weekend, the girl that was playing the harp did the cocktail hour, which bored the absolute shit out of me. But
I never understood that.
I don't either. I do love like my cocktail mix when they don't provide, what I've been telling a lot of couples now is I would love to get cocktail and dinner music from you if you're interested in doing that, because I feel like it customizes your wedding and people hear a song from Dave Matthews and go, oh my God, they definitely worked with this DJ, right? So I'm all about them kind of curating those two moments, the dinner and the cocktails, if they will. But if not, I'm pulling stuff that I like, Amy Winehouse and Jack Johnson and Van Morrison and Bob Marley and, you know, these kind of like singer-songwriter acoustic people that I love.
Mhm.
And
That's-
so long story short, I don't really remember anything cocktail wise,
Mhm.
but you know, I still remember living, I think I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina after college when I tanked that one business and playing Murder on the Dance Floor. There was this one girl at this fucking bar and she wore me out. And it was never a really big record
Oh.
here. Like, and this girl though was attached to it. And I just would see her coming and it was, you couldn't even ignore her. She was that kind of annoying that I would just play it. And then here it is 25, 28 years later. And then it comes back from a scene in a movie where guys run around with his dick out is just the wildest thing to me. And
She was ahead of the curve.
I like she was way ahead of the curve. But now I've kind of gotten to the point where I like the record, probably because I don't know, it just works and it kind of goes with other like up tempo 120-ish type records. But dude, this has happened now 2 weeks in a row. I was at a corporate event about a week ago, and it was a mixed crowd. Maybe it was huge, 400 or 500 people, half black, half white, from all over the state of North Carolina. Some bank that came together at this building in Durham for the quarterly kickoff, let's call it. And this girl came up. She was probably my age. I don't know. She was in her 40s, and she goes, "Do you have King George?" And I go, "I don't know. I don't know what that is." And in the same interim, this guy walks up to me and he goes, "You're the Crate Hackers guy." Like he didn't know me as Joe Bunn. He knew me from those commercials. And then 5 minutes later, another black guy walks up and he goes, "Hey man, I'm a DJ. You're that Crate Hackers guy." And I go, he just said the same thing. Yes, I am the Crate Hackers guy. And they were both members of Crate Hackers and they had seen me in the commercials. And I kind of look at them and I go, "That girl wants to hear King George." And they were like, "Yeah, King George is the shit." And I go, "Dude, I don't know this guy. I don't know his records. I don't know anything about him." And they go download it and put it on and see what happens. And dude, the only way I know how to explain it, and I looked him up later, he's from South Carolina. This record came out a year or two ago, and it sounds very much like that Step in the Name of Love R. Kelly record. I hate to bring up R. Kelly, but it's that kind of R&B, like grown and sexy. Dude, go download roll the Train Keeps on Rolling or something like that. And then there's whatever the other popular one is. King George went off. So fast forward to a week later, I'm at this wedding and I'm doing the prep work and I start going through and sure as shit, there was 2 King George songs on this thing. So, and again, it feels like I don't even say it's a black white thing. It seems like a grown and sexy kind of dance movement. And it may just be regional. It might just be kind of like beach music is big here and in South Carolina. It might be that's what it was. It sounded like a record my parents would like. And then there was another song that kind of sounded like it or in the same vein called Side Piece by Pokey Bear. And I'm like, and both of these songs, when you hear them, you're going to be like, "Bro, you played this at a wedding?" These were on the like must playlist. Now, granted, this couple was older. They were probably my age. Their kids were like 18, 19. And I just was like, these are not wedding appropriate, but like they went off. Like these were the 2 biggest songs at those last 2 events for the grown and sexy crowd. That's what I'll tell you. So I see Drew writing them down. Please go listen to them at the very least on Spotify. But you're at some point, maybe you're going to be down here in the South playing a show. Somebody's going to want to hear.
You know? Never heard either one of them, but
me neither. Now you know.
One of the things that you mentioned is just that you like to get music from couples to help customize, you know, the cocktail hour / dinner. And that was one of the things that I was pretty adamant with Demand of saying, like, this is kind of what I want for this, because I'm picky. You know, I knew the vibe that we were kind of going for the wedding. And but we had multiple people like compliment the music and that, and so much that Demand even put an hour mix out of that
of the stuff. Yeah. I think it's super important, man.
Yeah.
And I think what helps now is that Crate Hackers feature where you can just take a Spotify link. So I'll go, "Hey, send me your cocktail hour list," Spotify link. I plug it into Crate Hackers and it spits it out into Serato. Like, it's just a beautiful, beautiful feature. And it makes my job a lot easier than getting some kind of a spreadsheet or, a document.
For sure. For sure. The other thing we wanted to do is we didn't play any segment videos, so Drew, you'll have to edit one of those in, unfortunately. But Drew did want to do a rant today, and he wanted to do it while you were on here. So I'm going to play this video, and then we'll get into it.
Hey, Drew and Fuse. Peter Griffin calling in. I want to hear what really grinds DJ's gears. Besides from Bad Bunny requests from a phone or DJs stealing custom mashups of YMCA and Macarena and using it on their own TikToks. Hey, this week's guest, what grinds your gears?
I got it. This is
All right.
easy one.
Well, okay, you go first. I got a long rant too.
It's yours? Oh, do I? Oh, wait. I didn't know this was your segment. I thought you were planning it on me.
Usually we ask the guest, but I actually have
you go. Okay, you go first.
Rant today.
Oh, geez.
My rant today is DJs still using fucking 2012 laptops. This is just driving me through the fucking roof when I go, and the DJ doesn't have any of the cables. You can't just use the stuff that's there. You can't just plug in a USB-C or whatever's available. We're still using dongles and adapters and God knows what else. And the other day, the DJ using a fucking SL1 box. I'm going, at no point in anyone's life do we need to own that thing, or it sounds like shit. You're
fucking
just
paperweight.
You're degrading the sound. You have this amazing mixer that's shooting out just crazy audio, and you're degrading it with an SL1 box. Why? It's driving me nuts.
Oh god,
it's all the clubs I'm going to, and these DJs. If you don't have the money, I get it.
There's a solution for now, because it's what you can lease your MacBook from Apple. Yeah. You can lease a MacBook for $100 a month. If you're a DJ and you're playing 1 gig for $200, you can buy your record pool and you can lease a laptop. So
even the M1, the Airs, the original ones that came out when they relaunched them. Yeah. Walmart is selling them for $699 for the base model.
Those computers are.
I think Brian DJs off that.
Yeah. Those computers.
Brian B uses that, I think, for his main DJ.
$699, you can go and get a Walmart computer. There's zero excuses to still be running a 2012. Even I'll go as far to say the Intel ones. I saw one of the DJs over the past couple weeks had an old Intel. It was just a little bit hot in the club, or it was next to a speaker. Boom, waveform started stuttering. Ooh. And it almost dropped out. Right? What do? Get some new gear. It is your job. It's your livelihood. Take it seriously. No more of this old tech driving me fucking nuts.
That would drive me nuts too, man.
Yeah.
If you open I saw a meme the other day. It was like, if you open your laptop and the logo still lights up, get a new computer. Remember when they did that?
Yeah.
That black one and that white one.
Yeah.
Boy, that was the hot shit though.
The overheating is the big thing. Those computers suck so bad. Those Intel computers suck so bad.
Garbage. Dude, the M1 has been gold to me. I don't even have the new, like the M2 or M3 or whatever they're on now, but I got that M1 from a few years ago. And knock on wood, it has been
that one for me was a beast. I'm on the M2 Pro. I just got a newer one.
Yeah,
it's been about a year, but I'm on the M2 Pro. But that M1 that's probably the best computer I've ever owned.
Dude, me too. Mine is DJs putting in their contract or requiring venues to feed them at a wedding. It is fucking preposterous to think that you should go in there to a venue and eat the same thing as the guests and eat before the guests because you've got to get back to your job. I'm fully aware that couples ask me all the time, beef or chicken, and I tell them and I get served, but I make it the quickest thing. Slide into a conference room, eat real quick, come back out. You're not the photographer. You've not been there since noon. You probably got there about 3 or 4. You're going to be home by 11:30 or 12. either eat a late lunch or eat something on the way home. Do not require these people to feed you. You are literally shooting yourself in the foot and taking referrals out of your pocket by going in there demanding food. Grow up, get a fucking granola bar or something to stick in your bag, a bag of peanuts, Cheez-Its, a Red Bull. I have all kinds of shit in my van that I can go out there and scarf on if I get really hungry. God damn it, stop doing this, people. I'm telling you right now, you are losing shows over a piece of cold, dry hotel chicken, and it's fucking silly. Stop it. Stop it.
Dude, that's it. That's the newest Crate Hackers commercial. Is
There you go.
Bun granola bar.
The Bun granola bar and the Bun ice cream
holder.
Hungry DJ who gets hungry during your gig. we got it solved right here. The Bun granola bar.
It's got caffeine, protein. Oh Jesus! I don't hate that idea. I'm writing it down.
I think it's hilarious. I would die if I saw that.
I think it's pretty good. You have a rant, Fuse, or are we gonna close it out?
Yeah, my rant would be just that this weekend I was playing at the bar, and I'm still just so over the whole like cell phone thing. So if you're out,
happening,
it still happens. And my biggest problem is with it, like if you're like 2 feet away from me, you don't need to hold up your fucking cell phone. Just talk to me like a normal person. 1. And 2, if you're listening to this and you're a DJ or you're a friend of a DJ, just tell your friends not to do it. Just come up and talk to me like a normal person. I had a group requesting Drew's favorite song, and that's Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown, No Air, which if you ever play that, it definitely sucks the air out of the room. And they requested it, and I just kind of told them no at the time. And somebody's going to message us and be like, fucking Fuse, blah, blah, blah. You should play that song. It's a banger. I guarantee it's what happened.
I did play it at a wedding, and I what Fuse is telling you is what I said. You're fucking high. I'm not playing Jordan Sparks, No Air. And they must have sent every person at the wedding over to tell me Jordan Sparks, No Air. And I was like, fine. So I downloaded it, and I guess it was the volleyball. It was their like theme song that they wrote out to. It went fucking off. I played the whole 5 minutes of it, or however long terrible it was. But
what annoyed me most is I already told them no, and I already played a couple songs for them. They were requesting, like, I was coining the term earlier, just like meme songs, which is like fucking Creed and just other songs that are garbage that are now just like all of a sudden pop. Yeah. And so the problem is, like, I told them no nicely the first time, and I already played a bunch of songs, but then they're like 2 feet in front of me with their back turned to me, holding up their phone like this, and like just like it fucking drives me nuts. I'm like, where in the world do people act this way to anybody but like DJs, where it's just like you're just being a turd? And it drives me nuts.
I just don't. The only thing I can, dude, it would drive me crazy. And again, one of the reasons why I'm glad I don't play in that environment. I don't know that anybody's done that to me at a wedding. I think people started doing it because they thought the DJ couldn't hear them. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been doing this so long, I can read lips now. I'm not even like joking around. I can even sometimes when I'm watching sports, and they'll cut to the sidelines, I can literally tell what the coach is saying to this player. Like
same.
And I think it's from DJing, right? For
I agree.
So long. Yeah. And so I think that's how it started. Oh, this guy's not going to hear me, so I'm going to show him what I want. And then it's like you've thrown like societal manners out the window with that bullshit. Please just stop. I would much rather have a conversation.
This is what I hold up.
Thanks for your participation. Here's a gold star.
and I got a whole pack of gold stars. You take one off and you put it on their shirt.
Stop.
Like, thank you.
That would be amazing. It's just so you've taken condescending, and then you've even doubled their condescension with that gold star.
Most of them just laugh, or I ask them for their phone, and I'll be like, "Why is your font so small?" Or just totally trolling them back, and they laugh and they leave me alone.
Oh God. World,
I guess I just have one of those faces that people just think that they want to say whatever to. I guess that's me. I'm just that guy.
I feel like both of y'all are pretty nice guys, and just in general, like it's just. I would much rather have a conversation. I'll be honest.
Yeah, same. I would just rather talk to me because, it's just just ask me what you want. Like
That's
don't-
right. And then
just-
like you can at least justify like, okay, well, and then maybe get to like Drew said, like, okay, well, why is this such a big song?
Right,
Oh,
right.
this was like the one shining moment song of our entire volleyball career in 2019. Okay, that makes sense now. Like instead of just like screaming it and sending 30 people up, like give me the backstory because I don't know your friends and family, right? I've been hired to play music for you.
And there's a fine line of having the conversation though, because the same people that were like bugging me this weekend came up and they were like, "Can I take a request?" And I said, "Oh, just depends what it is. I'm not playing hip hop today. It's a house day. This is what we're doing."
Sure.
Oh, well, what about Usher? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it goes in the
You
in
should
the
have just
vein
said
that
yeah.
we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing, but we do have to wrap it up with the sauce.
Good stuff.
So this is tell them, Fuse.
The last segment video of the show, and we'll wrap. It's any advice to newer DJs, any advice to yourself, anything like that. We'll play the segment and then we'll get into it.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cook up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the pee, cause it's funky. As in good, that is, finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
Wow.
All right. Hit us with the
going.
sauce.
Yeah.
The sauce is always keep learning. Never think that you've got it all figured out, because you don't. I don't. Drew doesn't. Fuse doesn't. We're always learning. We're always going to conferences. We're always networking with other DJs in and out of our markets. We are always getting on platforms, hiring coaches, hiring consultants. The DJ's Vault is there for people that need it. It's a resource I created, 5 years ago to help you. You got great hackers to help you with your music. I mean, I'm not just going to plug all my stuff. I just genuinely believe that if you put yourself out there, meet with other DJs, if you don't take anything away from any seminar at a DJ conference, I promise you there's something going to happen in the hallway or at a dinner that you're sitting with a bunch of DJs with, and you're going to learn something. So always keep learning. Never think you know it all, because if you have that mentality, you've already lost.
Agreed.
Great advice.
Thank you.
Well,
Off the top of the dome. This was awesome, guys. I love y'all, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And if there's anything else that you wanted to say or plug, now's the time. Else we're wrapping up.
Nah, man, that was it. I feel good. This felt really good, man. We started out heavy, then we had some fun, and now we've wrapped it all into a big old package for everybody.
Well, that's going to wrap up the show for today. We'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.